Hello everyone, welcome to Keeping It Real with Nick. I'm your host, Nicholas Hurd. And here we have David Hurd, who is my father, and we'll get back to him right after this commercial break.
Life has a way of throwing you curveballs. Sometimes you're lucky enough to see it coming. Other times it just hauls off and hits you in the face without warning. When my second child was born and turned out to be special needs, that was a curveball that neither my first wife nor I saw coming. However, it's not the fact that life saw fit to hit us with this challenge that matters. It's the daily struggle to adapt and overcome that makes us who we are. Being both a blended family and one with a special needs child definitely makes some days a real challenge to navigate successfully. It takes a full measure of teamwork from everyone involved to make the family work. Most days, we don't have it all together, but together, we have it all.
Well, welcome back to Keeping It Real with Nick. Here we have David James Hurd, who is also my father. So, here we go. So, Dad.
Yeah.
How old were you when you first discovered your love of music?
I was probably pretty young, like most kids. My parents used to listen to the radio and stuff, so I kind of liked music. And as I got older, I played a few different instruments, and then went to high school and was in a few different bands, and just kind of kept developing it from there.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, and then of course your brother took guitar lessons.
Yeah.
And so when he took guitar lessons, I decided I would take guitar lessons, and
You did. And did Nan and Archie enjoy it?
Yeah.
Enjoy your kind of music?
yeah, they did. Actually, when I was in high school, they used to come to our concerts and stuff all the time, and we used to play a lot of music from their era, big band music and stuff. So
Yeah.
I think they thought it was pretty cool when I was a kid growing up.
Well, that's true. And you still play music today.
Yeah, so as it turns out, I learned the guitar along with your brother, and I have some friends that had a band, and they were kind enough to invite me out.
Yeah, of course. And one of them happened to be my godfather.
And one of them is your godfather, the infamous drummer of our band.
Yeah.
And so now we have a band, and we play a lot of charity gigs around the city for different events. So it's a lot of fun for everybody.
It is. I heard that you were in a high school band. And what instrument did you play?
Well, believe it or not, I played the trombone. And It wasn't necessarily my first choice, but what can you do?
But was it hard for you to learn it?
Yeah, like any instrument, it takes, as they say, practice.
Yeah. And how many times have you practiced?
Well, certainly not recently, but we used to have rehearsals 3 or 4 times a week, and yourself as an actor that when you have an event coming up, you probably practice even more. So
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but it was good. It was one of the things that helped me have a good grade in music to offset my lesser grades in maybe math. So it worked out pretty good for balance.
But that's good.
Yeah, it was.
That's really good that you have some education when you went in school.
Well, yeah, that was part of the idea of going to school, was to get some education, but certainly have some fun too. Sports, music,
of
education.
Course. I understand that you work at Gavin Brown.
I do.
And how long you been there?
Well, Gavin Brown is, as you know, a construction company, and I'm in the construction business. And we started this company probably about almost 25 years ago. Yeah.
Wow, that was like back in
yeah.
sometime in the 1990s.
Yeah, it was like 93, I think, somewhere around there. And we started off with 4 guys, and now we have 185 people.
Wow.
So it's really grown.
So it's grown like all over the country.
We're actually right across Canada. Every city that has an NHL team has a Gavin Brown office, which is pretty exciting.
Oh, it is pretty exciting.
Yeah, it is.
Wow, and it sounds like it's got to be a very popular place.
Well, I don't know. Your brother and sister work there too, and they seem to like it. So
Yeah, that's true.
yeah, so it
That's
works out
definitely
well.
true.
Yeah.
And I understand that you and the band go on the road in different venues. Can you share some insights on that?
Yeah, I mean, we've played at, certainly lots of different venues. We played one recently just down the street from where the studio is a couple of weeks ago for a fundraiser. So that was a really good night. Everybody had a good time. It was called Paddle Palooza.
Yeah.
And there was a few different bands there playing, and we donated our time and we raised some money for a good cause. Yeah. So we get the opportunity to play a bunch of different spots for, as you know.
That's actually like Soul Express.
Exactly. We did Soul Express up on the Danforth.
Yeah.
Last year we did Halloween Howl, or the Harvest Howl, excuse me.
It was a lot of fun last year.
It was a lot of fun.
We did the Monster Mash.
We did the Monster Mash, yeah.
And you've seen the Monster Mash.
That's right.
It was different, but also a lot of fun.
It was, and I had to learn the Monster Mash, which is something I hadn't really practiced before. But everybody seemed to have a good time, and again, the end result was to try and raise some money.
Of course.
To try and help out with the program, which we did. So it's good, and the boys in the band like to do it, and
true.
We like to, of course. Soul Express event is one of our favorite things that we do each year, so we always look forward to it.
And we're doing it again this year.
We'll do it again this year in October, and the guys are already talking about it.
Perfect. I'm glad and happy to have you guys back.
Well, we're certainly happy to be there.
So you are a father of 3, and what is it like for you to have a child with Down syndrome?
Oh, well, that's certainly an interesting question. Being that you were our first child, we didn't really know the difference. So to have, a child with Down syndrome to us really wasn't something new, because just having a child was new.
Yeah.
So in that respect, we didn't know any different, your mom and I.
Yeah.
But we soon found out that there were differences and challenges, of course, with certain things.
There have been many challenges throughout the years.
There have been.
Yeah,
and,
they have been.
Part of what we're doing right now is to try and help educate people.
Yeah.
Right? So that they can be more aware and check out, abilities versus disabilities, which is cool. And throughout your scholastic career, going to school and so on, we've spent a lot of time trying to educate teachers
teachers
and other students, of course, and it crosses into things like
doctors, nurses,
pretty much,
officers, etc.
And I think it's just really to open people's eyes and let them see that you had a lot to offer.
True.
And look now, look what you're offering now.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is also a lot of fun.
It is, and I never would have guessed that I would have been an interviewing guest.
I know.
Yeah.
That's
so
true.
It's been challenging, but it's probably been I have to say it's been a wonderful experience, of course.
And I understand that you and Mom were trying to find books on Down syndrome.
Yeah.
After I was born, did you get more information about Down syndrome?
Well, quite frankly, at the time it was really challenging. So, when you were born, and then a day or two later, when we found out that you had Down syndrome, of course, I didn't really know what that was. I was pretty young. And I went to the library to do some research, which seems to make sense. And all the books and information they had were really outdated and didn't seem very accurate at all. So I kind of gave up on that, because I didn't think what they had to offer was really, representing where I thought you would be and we would be.
Yeah.
So we looked for alternate information and stuff, and, created other means to get that information.
And I guess it was hard for you and Mom to find those resources.
Well,
for you guys to learn more about it.
It was. I mean, it was tough because obviously initially you don't know where to look to find the information. And like I said, the library didn't really offer the information. So Mom got together with other people somewhere in our neighborhood and in the city.
Yeah.
To exchange information.
True. And I guess that's how the Down Syndrome Association kind of started back then.
Exactly, and that's how the Down Syndrome Association started. Was a bunch of parents, concerned parents, that felt the same way we felt.
Yeah.
So your mom was one of the original sort of founders of the Down Syndrome Association.
And I was the poster boy for it too, to help the process going.
Yeah, you were the original poster boy for the Down Syndrome Association, and in fact, we still have the original flyers and posters and stuff. So it was really good. It was a good experience, not just for us, but for all of the other parents, to exchange information and ideas, and kind of, I could keep an eye on what their kids were doing, and they could watch what you were doing and stuff. So we found it really helpful, and I think that the association, of course, has grown tremendously over the years, and I think it helped a lot of people to kind of get the initial steps into kids with Down syndrome and what that means, and how it goes from there.
Just like going to visit different people with parents who have a child with Down syndrome.
Yeah, we did that. We
also did that.
We used to do sort of a parent support group.
Yeah.
So new parents that found out they had children with Down syndrome, we'd have them over to our house and kind of
or we go to them.
Or we go to their house, and they can meet you. So if they had a new baby and you were 4 or 5 years old. Yeah. And you were walking and talking and doing all the typical things that kids do.
Yeah.
New parents found that really, kind of reassuring, right? That, oh my gosh, this is wonderful. Look at this kid go. So it was good. It was good. It was very good.
That's good. And I understand. I guess it was hard for you and Mom trying to get me through school and college.
Yeah, well, I mean, as we sort of touched on, there were certainly barriers in the way, that, people already had preconceived ideas on a kid with Down syndrome or other kids with special needs on what path they should take.
Yeah.
Which was really being segregated away from, kids that lived on your street or kids in the neighborhood, which we didn't think was fair. So you got totally integrated into grades, sort of 1 through 6.
Yeah.
And as you know, there were certainly challenges there.
Yes.
Right? Because
even for me.
Yeah, well, certainly for you, and probably more for you than it was for us, of course, because you had to live the experience. But then we found other options when you went to Duke, which was a more, although it was in a totally regular high school, you had a separate class and program set up, for you and other kids with special needs, and that was pretty good. That worked out, really well, because they could focus on things for you.
Of course.
And then what happened after high school?
Then from there to Rosa Heights.
Oh yeah, that's true. You went from junior high to Rosedale.
Our classroom which was in the basement.
Right.
We had no windows.
Yeah.
And it was kind of hard for some of us.
Yeah, and I mean that takes us back to the same sort of dual standards that the sort of regular population of the school had all the activities and stuff, and the sort of special needs group or the disability group had to take sort of secondary classroom, secondary lunch breaks, and so forth. So again, that just adds up to the challenge, and most of that was because people didn't fully understand, and each time that more kids went through the program and stuff, I think it expanded more, and more options were presented. So you were a bit of a pioneer in some of that stuff, so you blazed a trail for the people that come behind you.
And then from there I went to college.
Well, college, huh? Our first college grad. As it were. And even that had, of course, some challenges.
Yes, it did.
It was a long distance away.
It was.
And you used to have to go from where we lived down on the beach all the way up to North York. So that was, and you did that all on your own, and had to travel back and forth, winter, summer.
Spring,
fall,
winter,
that kind of stuff.
All that stuff.
Yeah, so, I mean, and maybe it was a bit challenging for you, at first.
Yeah.
But at the end of it, how did it work out?
I have to say, I think it worked out really well.
I think it worked out
for the best.
Yeah, it did, and it showed that you could stick to it. You could stick to that program. You could put up with the traveling, and then of course you went to a conventional graduation ceremony that was wonderful.
It was and then after I graduated, I went from there to Soul Express. And I was one of the main founders right after I graduated.
That's right. I mean, and then, obviously from there you took on more learning experiences.
Yeah.
Because Soul Express was kind of a group that was growing and learning.
Yeah. And that was 10 years ago when we started the program.
Wow, 10 years ago, huh?
Yeah.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah.
And that has been a wonderful experience. And you've obviously been, a great mentor to some of the people now that are in Soul Express and really helped it grow from, again, how many people started off initially when you were
it started off with about 4 or 5 people.
Yeah, well that's great. And how many people are there now?
Probably about
on and off?
Probably about 10 to 14 people, I think.
That's good, and I think that again you were able to go there and lend some of your talents and experiences to Soul Express, and you're, like I said, one of the sort of main contributors to some of the ideas and theater acts that you do.
Yeah.
So that's pretty exciting.
Like Drum Away, and I was doing Drum Away and Soul Express at the same time.
Yeah, and I guess that's really kind of helped you find your niche, your love of acting and the arts, and maybe some painting.
Yes, and I took that up too.
Yeah, that's which your mom and I are just like totally amazed.
True.
That all of a sudden you decided painting was going to be a passion, and you've been in a couple of art shows.
Yeah.
And you have sold numerous pieces. I don't know, got to be 100 or a couple hundred pieces.
Yeah.
And everybody obviously wants to have an Art Nick piece hanging in their house. Why wouldn't you? Of course, we have several.
And we have one of them here hanged up for the Disability Channel here.
Oh, do you? I never noticed. You
actually, it's on the wall.
Oh, well, I'll have a look on the way out. Everybody should have an Art Nick.
Yes, everybody should have one. But before we do, have to set up the website.
That's right. Well, we're still working through the website thing. We got to get that properly set up and make sure that, like anything else, that people, much like this, have access and accessibility to it. So we'll keep working away on our technologies to make sure we do that.
Awesome. Okay. And David, do you have any advice for parents who have a disability child and want to learn more? Do you have any advice for them?
Well, I guess my best advice is, you don't have to take no for an answer. You just got to keep looking. It's obviously it's much easier today for parents and people and relatives to get information with the internet and connect with other people that had the same challenges or have the same challenges, and really just try and network with again other people with similar challenges. And I think my best advice is that no is not necessarily something you have to live with. If people just say no, it's not good for you, or no, it's above your achievement level, don't accept that. I mean, you really have to set your own goals and standards as you would for anybody else in any other walk of life, and focus to live up to them.
Well, that's good. And I would like to say thank you to David James Hurd, who is also my father, for coming on this show today. And we wish him all the best in the near future.
Well, thanks, Nick. It's been my pleasure.
Thanks for coming on. And we will come back in just a few minutes after this commercial break. Thanks for watching.